some questions here that have been submitted by audience members, and these are the most pressing, burning questions in their minds. First of all, you are an incredibly accomplished quarterback, to say the least, among the highlights of your career with the Denver Broncos. 2 Super Bowl titles, multiple MVP awards, being named to the NFL Hall of Fame. The question is, what is the secret of your success?
Well, I was very lucky to start with. But obviously I was put in a situation. I had 2 great parents that were very supportive, great sisters, put in great situations my whole life. But the bottom line is, since I was a little guy, I wanted to be a quarterback. And I wanted to be, when I got to high school, I wanted to get to the college level and play in college. When I got to the college level, I wanted to come and play in the NFL. And then when I got to the NFL, I really wanted to be the best quarterback that ever played the game. And I think that really is the thing that really motivated me the whole time, my competitiveness, and really wanted to be the best. And that's why I was able to get where I got. Obviously, I had a lot of teammates that I played with that helped me along the way, that were able to get those championships. But that was the key thing, is I think that my competitiveness and really, truly I wanted to be the very best. And that's what kept me going all those years.
Very cool, very cool. Well, as a player, you have your own career to attend to, but you're also focused on serving the goals of the team as a whole. How did you balance individual goals with team accomplishments?
Well, I think that's something, especially as a quarterback, you start realizing as you grow and you play football, that when you're in Pop Warner, it's about scoring touchdowns. High school, you want to throw for yards, you want to throw touchdowns. College, it's a little bit different story. All of a sudden, but you still want to get to the next level, and you're always climbing to that next level. But the thing that you realize once you get to the NFL is that it's about business and it's about wins and losses. And that's really all that people care about when you're in the NFL. It's not about touchdown passes. It's not about numbers, but it's about winning. And so that is, once you get to the NFL, you get to that level coming out of college. I was very fortunate to play at Stanford. And then coming to Denver, I realized that all of a sudden it wasn't about, I made that going from an amateur athlete to a pro athlete in a hurry. Once they start paying you, those expectations change in a hurry. And they changed when I got here, and then that's when you start realizing that it's about the team. And so therefore, as a quarterback, you learn and realize that you're only as good as those other 53 guys on that team, especially those other 10 guys that are playing on the offensive side of the football with you. You're only as good as those 10 guys. And so, therefore, it's very important to get everybody on the same page and make sure that they understood what the whole plan was, and that was to win football games. Win football games, but the bottom line was to win championships.
You guys can clap. It's okay. During a game, obviously you've faced situations where the plan or the strategy wasn't quite working, and you had to change gears quickly. Give us some keys about how to do that.
Well, I think the key thing is in football, obviously, is a lot like in the business world, and the fact that you got to make adjustments. I think that if you watch the Broncos the last 5 games, you're watching a team that's making good adjustments at halftime. When you look at what they're doing. But I think when we played, is what we would do is we had 20 plays. We'd start the game with 20 offensive plays. We'd show them every different formation that we would have, and then we would see how they were going to adjust and kind of get their game plan, what their game plan was going to be, and then we would adjust for there. But the key thing was that we adjusted in a hurry. And we did it then. We experiment with different things, and then we found out what they're going to do, and then we would go and attack exactly what we thought was going to be the most successful. So the bottom line was adjustments are always made during a football game, and that's truly where, to me, you find out where a great football coach is. There's a guy that can really make those adjustments during the game. And the same thing in the business world is that you have to make that. Everybody goes in with a game plan or a business plan. But the bottom line is, not every business plans are not perfect, and so they're always going to have to change. And I think especially with what we're going through with the economy and what we're going through in the economy now, it's making those adjustments and making those tough decisions. And you got to make those. And I still believe, and had seen some of my friends struggle in the business, as we all have, but realize that hope is not a business plan. Hope is not a business model.
Yeah, you're right
and
about that.
And that's why you have to get on top of it and make those tough decisions and make them now. And that's why the successful teams in the NFL are able to make those adjustments during the game. And like the Broncos are doing 9 at halftime and come out and beating people in the second half.
Mm-hmm. Very good, very good. Now, John, you talk about the business world and your business experience, and I actually had the pleasure of eating at your restaurant at the Ritz the other night. It was wonderful.
Oh, good.
And what have you learned in your athletic career that you've translated to business success?
Well, I think that the one thing that I learned, especially being a quarterback, that teams win. And that I could only be as good, no matter how much talent God gave me, I could only be as good as the guys that I was playing with. And how I got them to perform or help them perform and lead them to having the same mindset that I had, and that was to win championships. My same philosophy that I've taken into the business world and been very fortunate in the fact that we're about longevity in the business world as far as what I think in the car business as well as the restaurants, because so many times when I got in the restaurant business, which I told myself I never would, because there had been so many nightmares with athletes getting in the restaurant business and the nightmares that had happened to them, that when I decided to jump in, obviously everyone's saying it's going to be the same type thing. The athlete puts his name on the building and thinks that everybody's going to come. Well, my philosophy, the same thing was in football as it is in the business world, is I want to be around a long time. I really want to be good at what we do. I want to be the best restaurant in Denver. And I told my partner, I said, if I decide to do this, I want to be around longer than Denver is. And that's our mindset. And if we go in with that mindset, we got a chance to be successful, because what you do is about changing, and it's about taking care of the customer and getting customers for life. And I also realize that a brand, if I put my name on the building, I understand that's going to help us. That gives us a jump start. But it also raises the expectations of what customers expect to get when they do come into the restaurant, or they did come into the dealerships when I had them in town. And so that we had to live up to those expectations. And if we did that, we would last a long time. But it wasn't about what you did in the past. It's what we're going to do tomorrow and how we're going to continue to get better and better and better.
Good stuff, good stuff. John, you have had a lot of success in clutch moments of games. What advice can you give us about how to motivate our teams in the moments that matter most?
Well, I think that the one way that I looked at, especially, there's two ways you can look at it. You can say, well, why were we behind so many times late in the fourth quarter? Was it because I didn't play that well, or could have used that excuse? But the bottom line is, when we ran on the field, or when I ran on the field and we're down by 3 points, I wasn't afraid to fail. I wasn't afraid. I knew when we ran on that chances were this was going to be our last chance to be successful. And so I always looked at it as having the opportunity to be successful rather than having the opportunity to fail. But we still had a chance. And as long as we had a chance to do that and win the football game, then I was looking forward. And I think what happened was that transcended itself throughout the football team. We started getting confidence that all of a sudden, when it did get in those clutch times and we did need guys to make plays, that they weren't afraid to fail either. That they were thinking about things that they could do to help make us successful rather than thinking about the negative things that might happen. And I think that positive attitude of thinking positive about it and thinking, okay, this is a chance we have to still be successful in this football game and also move and get to that next level, that's why I was never afraid to fail. And I think that's what kept the positive thoughts process happening. And with that, we were able to, we didn't do it every time, but we sure thought running out there that we were going to do it.
Very good.